Hello, everybody. Absolutely delighted to see you. And it's always a big excitement to get ready for such a thing. So I want to start with just a little bit of presencing where we just can close our eyes and kind of go, ah, and let the energy fall down inside the body. As if all the energy that has been looking outwards in order to get everything ready, it turns 180 degrees and looks into the back of your body and the back of your head. And it doesn't matter what's in there, it's just the direction. And as this awareness is looking inside of the back of you, it begins to fall down inside the body deeper and deeper and deeper, headed towards the deep belly, down and in, down and in, down and in, down and in, flying and falling further and further, in and in and in and in and in. As if deep in the belly, there's something like outer space. And this inward moving arrow goes on, flying and falling into that endless region. While all around that inward movement, the body is vibrating with life. And letting the ears be open to the sounds around for a moment. And back to the belly. And the eyes can open when you're ready. And I'm now going to do something a little bit absurd. I have some aura soma here. It's gold color, which is for joy and alertness. And today we will be meeting our alertness and our joy also. Why not? So I'm going to just put 3 drops in my left hand. It has a wonderful, incredible smell. And I'm going to just send some to everybody. So first I'm kind of letting it in. Oh yeah. Perfect for 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which it is here. And then I'm just kind of sending it to you guys, wherever you are. Like a cup of tea for the aura, kind of. Oh, it's god awful wonderful. It's like mangoes and yeah, yummy things. Okay, so welcome to Human Design and Intimacy, or Your Sexual Style and Intimacy, a Human Design Perspective. And I've got everybody's charts all stacked up here. So we've got 7 generators, 1 manifesting generator, 2 projectors. And I don't know how much any of you know about human design or what experience you've had, but I would like right now if each person could just introduce herself, say where she is right now in the world, and just 1 or 2 sentences about what brought you to this group. We don't have time to really talk a long time, but just a little bit of what brought you here. So, shall we start with Linda?
Yes, hello. I'm Linda, and I'm in Hong Kong. And what brought me here was I'm a love and relationship coach, and I'm curious about how human design can help myself as well as my clients.
Uh-huh. Fantastic. That's really neat. A love and relationship coach. Great. Okay. Thank you, Linda. And next, Nuri.
I came so right now I'm in a place different far from where I live. I don't have any internet here. I do have internet just for this course, but I don't have any other connections at this time. So I'm glad to be here. Um, what brought me here is I did group a course with or individual with Madhuri, and I still feel like I get confused when I meet people. What is my style? Like, do I approach or should I hold back? Or this guy's right or that guy's. So I guess somewhere knowing myself, what is right for me, what is my approach.
Okay, exactly. What's right for you? Okay, thank you, Nuri. And now we have Arena.
Hi, everybody. I'm connecting from Riga, from Latvia. Just came back on the last day of last year, basically moving back after many years. So I'm back to my birthplace, which is very symbolic for me as well. And I have done sessions with Madhuri in the past, and it's been very important for me, and it's supported an important change and the understanding of myself, and through that uh, realigning to my way and my strategy, basically, of being in life. And now that this course came across, I felt it was also the right time to use those tools and look more into what is in connection with the sexuality and relationships, because I feel ready actually to dive deeper into that and understand some tendencies in my relationships in the past.
Okay, okay, thank you, Arena. Okay, next we have Johannes.
Hi, my name is Johannes, and I'm in this course after discovering human design basically a few days ago, so I'm very new. And I'm very interested in what is really me, and especially also in a relationship context, what is really me. And because I've been very much struggling with not being myself and getting lost in something. Yeah, so I'm just happy to be here. And
Thank you. Shall we call you Subhuti or Johannes?
Satya Subhuti is my new sannyas name. I got it on the 24th of December. So yes, Satya Subhuti.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you, Subhuti. Okay, Cassandra.
Hi, I'm in Glastonbury, UK, and just like Linda, I'm also a sex and relationship therapist and teacher. So it's kind of what I do for a living, but it's also my personal path towards enlightenment is through relationships. So I've come across human design like 5 years ago, and all the people who I've crossed paths with, I've looked at their design and saw if there's any patterns and what does it mean, etc. And I've been really interested to dive into it deeper to actually know, how can I gauge compatibility? I'm looking to create a matchmaking agency, and I think human design could be a really useful tool for this as well. But so it's for my own life and for my clients' lives as well. So I'm looking forward to finding out more.
Thank you, Cassandra. And next we have Anka.
Hi everyone, my name is Anka. I'm in Bucharest right now from Romania, and I recently discovered human design through Madhuri, and it felt like it's a very safe way to get to know yourself. I personally get lost in relationships, and it's difficult for me to maintain my individuality inside one or any kind of relationships. So I'm looking forward to find out which style do I have, or what it's difficult for me to decide or to see where I am, or where I end and someone else starts. And I'm looking forward to find out more about that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Antonia.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I'll go somewhere else. My name is Tonya, and I'm very recent to human design. I just found out about it a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm from Belgium, by the way. And why it spoke to me is because I have a 10-year marriage that just came to an end. And I wanted to understand myself better. And sexuality was a challenge in our relationship. And yeah, so I wanted to know myself better in that respect so that I can stand firm in the future about who I am and what's important to me.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Antonia. And is Salama here?
I'm here. You can call me Ummi
Umi. Okay, Umi.
because it's Umme Salama and it's very long, so Ummi will do.
Okay, I don't see you on video.
Okay, just a second. Yeah, here I am.
There you are. Very good.
Okay, so I am in Mumbai right now, and I've been married for 20 years. And I came to know about human design. I don't really know what it is about, but what I'm hoping for is to understand myself, to know myself better so that I can improve my relationship, my intimate relationship with my husband, which we've been struggling with since a few years.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Umi. Very clear. Okay, so we're still missing Anna. Anna didn't show up.
No, she didn't yet.
Okay. Okay. So.
Okay. Sorry, there is someone else. Yasemin. She's
Who?
joining right now. Yasemin.
Oh, Yasemin. Okay. So, Yasemin, can you just tell us where you are and what brought you to the group?
You're muted.
Yeah. Can you repeat it again? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes. Can you just tell us where you are in the world and what has brought you to this group?
Well, I'm in Istanbul, living in Istanbul, and I'm joining from Turkey, Istanbul. I'm just interested in human design, and I've been taking life coaching sessions and seminars for a couple of years, and I just wanted to know a little bit more about or just a hint of human design and see if it suits my life and where am I, how is my chart, who am I. I'm just interested in that. Sorry because I'm late, because for Turkey time there says Istanbul, maybe I read it wrong as 8:30, but I just found out that it's like 6 o'clock. It starts at 6 o'clock, and in the morning I also thought it was in the morning 8:30. So since the whole day I'm just trying to get into the class, but right now at least right now I'm a bit late, but I'm here.
Yeah, you're not that late. It's okay. Okay, good. So there's Anna. No, that's Arina. Okay. So Anka, there's nobody else, right?
Right.
Okay.
Tonya van de Weyer. She hasn't spoken yet.
Yeah, Tonya spoke.
Antonia, yeah, Tonya.
There was
Yeah,
an
she
Antonia Brown and there's a Tonya van der Weyer, and one of them only has
the same
spoken.
one. It's the same one.
Okay.
The brown is with the husband.
Fair enough.
Or the man. Okay. So this human design, it's such a rich subject. There's so much that we can look at from so many directions. But in this group, what we're going to do is to look from the perspective of love, intimacy, and relationships. So everything that we're looking at, we're kind of coming from that. perspective. And we're starting today with the types, the 4 types, and what's called your inner authority, which is really the most important thing in human design. It's your way to make a decision from your true nature. And in the realm of love, sex, and relationship, this is so important. So many, many times, you have to know what's true for you rather than taking care of the other person, trying to make them feel better, or whatever you might be doing that isn't really paying attention to who you really are right then. So in this system, we have 4 basic types with a lot of subtypes, just like there are 4 blood types with a lot of subtypes. And each type will have a different way of approaching love. The biggest type there is called generators. And among you, there are 7 generators. So this is Arena, you are a generator. Linda, generator. Anka, generator. Anna, who's not here, generator. Yasemin, Cassandra, and Umi. All of you are generators. This is 70% of people who are generators, and yet each one of those people is completely unique, completely different. So you will be a generator in your very own way. Generators are channeling the very life force, the fresh life energy that bubbles from the source and comes through the human being. That's what you guys do, and you love to use it to build something, to create something, to make something that works. You love to use that energy for dancing, for making love, for building the things of the world. The way that we know somebody is a generator is, and I sent all of you a blank chart that had labels on the center so that you know which center is which. But this is a very good example here, that here is a colored in red, this square. Anybody who has that square colored in red, this is called the sacral motor, is a generator. There's another kind of generator called a manifesting generator, and we have one of those, which is Nuri. A manifesting generator will have that red square colored in, but she will also have some channel that connects to the throat, which is the manifesting center. And manifesting generators are very different from plain generators, even though they do share that sacral motor. And we'll be going into a lot more detail about exactly what that means. But first, we'll just do a little overview of these 4 types. The next most numerous type is called a projector, and that's 20% of people. And we have here 2 of those. We have Tonya and we have Subhuti, who are projectors. Projectors do not have that sacral motor colored in. Now on your chart, you will have seen some chakras are colored in and some are not, and that there are 9 chakras. Anything that's colored in is a gift that you have. It's a consistent and reliable quality that you always have all your life, 24 hours a day. It's something you can depend on. You can put your weight on it. That gift will come through in your own unique way, but you can enjoy all your life to play with that thing. And my own experience is it's enough just to play with what we have. We don't have to also be everything else in the world. The open centers, the ones that are not colored in, are where you are here to learn and to go to school, to become an expert. And the way that works is when you don't have something colored in, when you're with people, somebody will have something colored in that you don't, and you will take in their energy and amplify it and have an experience, and you think it's you, and the other person thinks it's you. But when the person goes away, the experience goes away, and you look back on it and you say, this happened, that happened. And over a long life, you can get an objective overview of that chakra in human life by seeing it from so many different perspectives through so many different people that you've connected with. And of course, being conscious about this makes it work a lot better. Otherwise, we tend to get identified with those open centers that are not our thing. They're not our problem. It's really not a thing we have to carry, but we think it is. So the projectors do not have that sacral motor colored in, that motor which is all about energy. Therefore, projectors are here to be wise about energy. So projectors are kind of psychic. They feel energy. They know about energy. They look at people and they see energy. They don't just see matter. And they feel it through their whole body. They get it through their whole body. And there are many more things about being a projector that are different than being a generator, but that's the main thing. And it has a lot of implications in relationship, as we will see. The next type is a manifester. These are only 8% of people. They are the only ones who have the wiring to dream something up that they want to do, and they do it, and it actually functions without needing the help of anybody else. And the reason they can do that is because although they don't have that sacral motor colored in, they do have some other chakra colored in that's classified as a motor, which connects to the throat through a channel. There are 4 chakras that qualify as motors, and you will need to know what they are because in relationship, this is going to be very, very important. I sent you the chart that has all the chakras labeled. The ones that are motors are the sacral motor, the root, which is right underneath that sacral motor, the emotional center, which is off to the right, and the ego center, which is above the emotional center. Those are the motors. None of the other chakras are motors. Motors are kind of generating energy. They are turned on. They're always switched on. They're always happening. And if you connect one to the throat through a channel, through a colored in line, then if that person does not have the sacral colored in, they are a manifester. Everybody thinks they want to be a manifester, and the world tells you you should be a manifester, and that if you are not, something is wrong, and you should keep trying and trying and trying until you are. But manifestors have their own problems. And if you are not a manifester, you are not supposed to be. In fact, in this system, nothing is broken and nothing needs fixing. This is not about fixing yourself. This is about finding out who you are and resting in that and enjoying it and playing in it and having a really good time in it and being aware of what you're not so that you don't get hooked into wasting your energy trying hard to do something that's not your business. Okay, the last type is called a reflector, and that's only 1% of people. And we don't have any in this group. We also don't have any manifestors in this group. However, this group happened because of a manifester who is Mohini Shrishti, a wonderful manifester in Goa. And she did exactly what the manifestors are supposed to do, which is to start something. She started this whole evolved being. So the reflector has nothing colored in on her chart. None of her chakras are colored in. And she is here to be really, really wise. So as a little illustration of how the four types work together. You can imagine that a manifester got an idea that she wanted to have a lot of wildflower bombs, which means balls of dirt with wildflower seeds embedded in them. And she wanted that these would get spread all over the place. You know, that in the cities, all the vacant lots would get wildflower bombs, and by the roads, wildflower bombs. So what would be correct for her, she dreams this up. She figures out how she might want to start it. And then she involves generators. She throws a wildflower bomb to a generator. The generators do the work. Now, of course, the generator will need to feel excited about this wildflower bomb. Like, oh yeah, I want to play with these wildflowers. I want to plant wildflowers. This is fantastic. Let's have lots of wildflowers. So when the generator really has energy to connect with a thing, and this is so important, and we will be learning today how you know what your energy really wants to do rather than what your mind says. So the generator goes out with these wildflower bombs and is like putting them in the vacant lots and, you know, doing some watering and digging some ditches for the irrigation and putting them in the fields and wherever she wants to put them. But at a certain point, maybe something goes wrong and a bunch of the wildflowers aren't coming up. Then when she feels stuck, she looks for a projector. Hey, these wildflowers aren't coming up. I don't know what's wrong. The projector sees energy, so she sees kind of how everything is being done, and she's also very good at looking at how things can be more efficient. So she says, well, what about we centralize the wildflower distribution over here, and we send out a team of people early in the morning before it gets hot to dig some irrigation ditches. And, you know, maybe here's a generator. Would you like to invent a machine that we dig, you know, the ditch with, that's not too wide and, you know, and that the water comes down like this. And she just sees it from an overview perspective, how we can save energy and make this thing work. And then perhaps it happens that some people don't want wildflowers in their location and they get really pissed off and they, you know, we hate wildflowers. No. Then we will look for the reflector to be a mediator, because the reflector has empathy with everybody. She's reflecting everybody in all her open centers. She's feeling the presence of all the people. She's not choosing. And she's a fantastic mediator because she can sit with both, and she's not going to choose one over the other. She's going to listen to both of them. And she will have a really fantastic overview. So that's just a little capsule way of looking at the roles. Okay, now we come back to relationship perspective. So most people are generators. And this has a whole lot of impact on everybody, because whenever you have something colored in, all the generators have that sacral motor. It's really hard to know what it's like not to have it. So all the generators think that everybody's a generator. And because there are so many of them, if you were born as a projector or a manifester or a reflector, you were expected from birth to be a generator. And this means you've been trying really hard to pony up, to produce, to do your, you know, make your contribution. And because you amplify energy that comes in any open center, we all do that, you've taken in the energy of the generators, amplified it, and worked twice as hard as they did. However, your body can't sustain that because you don't have consistent access to energy. Of course, you have energy, but it is coming and going in an inconsistent way. Open centers are inconsistent. So projectors have breakdowns. Every few years, it's classic for a projector to have to go to bed for a week with something or other. It might be a flu. It might be a nervous breakdown. It might be all kinds of things. that make them have to crash. And it's simply so they can recover. They need to get away from the generators in order to empty out their sacral motor and feel the lightness of being again in their center and stop being quite so stimulated all the time by the energy of the generator. So in a relationship, this is difficult. In working, you need each other, projectors and generators. The projector has the overview. The generator does the work. The projector, if she's doing right, she will ask the generator very respectfully. She won't tell her what to do ever. She'll ask her respectfully, do you have energy to do this? And the generator then has a chance to feel in her inner authority, which we'll talk about very soon, whether her energy really wants to connect with the project. Relationship, and it happens a lot. In the beginning, the projector feels really excited because all this energy has come to her. Wow! Suddenly, wham! And she feels really lifted up and happy, and everything is great. But in bed, it's not quite. She might feel, the projector might feel overwhelmed. She might feel, sometimes she has a huge amount of red hot energy, and other times it's just gone and it comes and goes, and she doesn't really have any way to deal with it. She doesn't have any way to summon it if it's not there. And the generator is supposing that the projector is just like him and that, is having orgasms and, they're having a good, nice, pleasurable time. Whereas for the projector, because she's here to be wise about energy, she's perceiving these sexual meetings as energy, not so much as pleasure to fulfill and satisfy and have an orgasm and everything's fine, but she'll be very interested in the fine points. What is this energy? What's it exactly like? What did it do then? Where is it going now? What happened there? And this can be a bit bewildering for the generator. With a manifestor, things are totally different again, because manifestors are pure yang. Manifestors are here to make stuff happen, including love, sex, relationships. And it doesn't matter if the manifestor is male or female. Female manifestors are the only females who very profitably can look around, choose the guy, and go, you. And it works. In fact, if she's standing in that, she's the empress. The man will feel it. Yeah, this is right. This is how it's supposed to be. But if a projector tries that, and they often do, because the projectors, without that sacral motor colored in, especially when they're young, they tend to perceive themselves as hungry for energy, hungry. And they can indeed be sort of needy and sucky. Give me some, give me some, give me some more. And when they got it, they don't really know what to do with it, because they're not really here to be energy. They're here to observe it. So if a projector initiates and tries to grab hold, people will block her, just block her, and it won't work. And she's afraid to let go and not do that because she's afraid nobody sees her, that nothing's going to happen, that she's just going to be hungry all the time. I tell you from my own experience from long ago, I'm a projector. The reflector, it's really hard to say anything about them because they are the moon. They are mysterious. They are having a lunar cycle where if somebody wants to connect with them, somebody wants to go to bed with them, they should say to that person, ask me again in a month. I need a month to think about it. I need a month to let it pass through me. Because the reflector, with all that open space, is taking a kind of taste of all of the types throughout the month. Some days she's a manifester, and some days she's a projector, and some days she's a generator. And she's also tasting a lot of finer nuances, what we call gates and channels that are passing through with the phases of the moon, with the planets moving. And she doesn't know anything until she's waited for a month. Okay, so when you put different types together, there's naturally confusion. However, it's always happening. And this is probably a good place to interject, but we are not here to look for the perfect relationship. And of course, that's what everybody thinks they want. Everybody thinks they just want to be happy. They want to find some nice person that fits with them and be happy. You know, everybody's constantly asking me for that through human design. It doesn't work like that. And I'll have to say it again and again and again because we keep thinking that that's what we want. Instead, we are all in a great mystery. That's what we have here. We have a huge, vast, pulsating mysteriousness. And out of the billions of people on Earth, 2 people connect. We don't know why these people connected. It could have been other people, but no, it's these 2. Right then, those people connected. It might be they have past lives that they have to work out. It might be they're setting themselves up for some karmic story that has to still happen. It might be that there is some nourishment that each one of them is going to get that's not going to be perfect because it's never perfect, but it will be still really great. And it's not going to fulfill everything, but for now, it's going to be really helpful. So we can't say a perfect combination and that's all you should do. We're not going to say that. Instead, we take what life brings us, we respond from our truth, and that's how we know if this is the right adventure. Adventures have difficult parts. You know, if it's too easy, it's not an adventure. So, if a generator and a projector are together, the generator can work all day and into the night until he's exhausted and falls asleep. And then he wakes up in the morning and starts over. And as long as he's doing work that he loves, this is healthy for him. Not for the projector. The projector is a much more delicate creature, which is not to say weak. It's just fine. And she is not here to work principally. Generator is. So for a generator, if you're having trouble in relationships, I would suggest the very first thing is to look, well, we all have trouble in relationships. We're supposed to have trouble. But I mean, anytime you feel that there's trouble in relationships, first of all, look and see, am I happy in my work? Because you're really here to build things, to enjoy your job. And because generators have consistent energy, everywhere you go, since you were very small, people see the energy, they want to harness it, they might want to steal it, or they might want to buy it cheap. In other words, they are trying to make you into a slave. Generators are easily made into slaves. And the only way to avoid being a slave, if you're a generator, is to know what your strategy and authority is, which I will come to right away, very soon, so that you make a decision from your true nature instead of from the pressure that people are putting on you. So here we've got a lusty generator who is working and working and working, and then comes to bed at midnight. Whereas the projector is supposed to go to bed before she's tired, much earlier than midnight, and to lie down and do something or other in a prone position for an hour at least before going to sleep. Read a book, watch a movie, listen to music, make love, something where you're lying down. Because when you're lying down, you're releasing what the day has done. And you will rest much better, sleep much better. For all the types in relationship, human design says, sleep alone. Now, this is easier for some people than for others. Anyone with emotional definition, which we will come to in another class, this is harder for, because they want to grip hold of the other one all night and hold them because they're tactile. But whatever type you are, great to go to bed with the beloved, make love, meditate together, whatever you like to do. But sometime in the night, get up and go to your own space. Then you can finish off the night emptying from the influences. And you will rest and sleep much, much better. So a generator and a projector together in a love relationship, here's what tends to happen. The generator thinks something's wrong with the projector by and by, that they are skiving off, they're not doing their part, they're not putting in all they ought to put. In bed, they are a little too lightweight. They're not contributing a nice red hot motor full of lust and moisture, They are doing a different thing. For a male projector, this can be especially challenging because if the woman's a generator and she wants a red hot stud muffin who's going to just produce those erections one right after the other all night long, every night. And the projector, no, it's not really what he's here to do. He's here to become a wise man ultimately. And to be wise about sex is about as wise as you can get. What is sex? It's a really strange thing. The yin and the yang. It's like how the universe holds together through the polarity, through the opposites. It's very profound. The projector has the possibility to grok that, to contemplate that, to look at the big picture of that. And he or she will be very interested in all the nuances. Now, projectors tend to be extremely interested in sex. Open centers are very attractive for our attention. And if the projector has what we call a hanging gate sticking out of that sacral motor, for example, the gate of sexuality, it's a little colored in thingy sticking out, then she will be fascinated. I tell you from my own experience, I have that one. So with the open sacral, the projector, the manifester, the reflector, all of them, they don't know when to stop. It's easy for any of those to keep on going and going and going, even after the point of exhaustion, until they have a collapse. Whereas all the generators and the manifesting generators are just there with the energy, just chugging away with the energy. It's happening. So it's a very different thing. And nothing is wrong with anybody. They're just different. So it's easiest to be with your own type. But I'm not going to say that's what you have to do, only that it's easiest. I was in a relationship with a manifesting generator for 5 years, and I'm a projector. And when I look back at that relationship, I can really see exactly the whole story, what worked, what didn't work. But what I can say is I'm not sorry that it happened. It was very nourishing and very, very enriching in a lot of really important ways. It happened at the right time. It was really groovy. But what I can also say is that it worked the best when we were in the Pune commune, where we had our own rooms and we didn't live together. And we were meeting in the milieu of the Buddha field, where there was this higher consciousness all over the place and everybody was in their heart. And somehow the love was flowing there in a way that was harmonious. Whereas as soon as we would go to Germany, where he lived, it was horrible. He became a German and he had this big power because a manifesting generator is not only a generator, but he also has this connection to the throat, like, "Rah!" And he would simply overwhelm me energetically with his German stuff, which is like, "You didn't close the door. It is very cold out there. We are not in California." Ah. And I would be just shaking because I'm one of the weird 2% of people who have no motors at all. So lots of projectors, they have that open sacral motor, but they have some other motors. So they at least have some kind of a consistent energy coming through. I don't have that. So when I'm getting overwhelmed by a manifesting generator or a manifester, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. It's like there's no hope. I cannot come back at them with anything. I just freeze like in the mouth of a lion that's carrying you away. And I'm so glad I found out about human design because it made me forgive myself for becoming so freaked out and frozen when that overwhelming energy comes at me. In sex, he was a huge man. He was 6'4", a Viking, enormous penis. Here we are all together talking about sex, so I'm going to say it. I don't mind. It was wonderful. There were things in the design that like really, really clicked for that was great. However, I always felt that I'm being run over because manifesting generators, they have the possibility to go for something. They have that connection to the throat. They want to just take that generator energy and do something. However, because they are still generators and they're not manifestors, it doesn't work to just initiate and push something through, but they want to do it. So it's the most difficult type of person to be is a manifesting generator. Impatience. They see a goal, they want to go there, they try, and it doesn't work. So this man, this manifesting generator, he would rush through. He would rush the sex. For me, it was way too rushed. I never had a chance to sit in silences that I felt. And I would have to push through to keep up with him somehow. I'd have to force, I'd have to use my will to keep up with him. But still, I can't say that I regret the relationship. I do not regret it. It was also very, very beautiful. So, two projectors together, however, I've also had this. This is very blessed because if you live together with a projector and you are one, and there's no generators in the house, there is a center of space in the house. There's a sky, a center of sky in the house that everything happens around. It's a peaceful, silent center. You guys do not harass each other. You don't push each other. You don't pressure each other. And there's a certain understanding, an intrinsic understanding that is there. Two generators together. Generators need a lot of sex. It's healthy for generators to have sex every day, orgasmic sex. So if two generators are together, they can keep up with each other. A manifesting generator with a generator, well, the generator is going to get overwhelmed, just like a projector will, only not quite as much. But she will get overwhelmed. And she'll have to take time away from the relationship in order to empty out and come back to herself. Two manifesting generators, good. They at least can understand each other. Two manifestors, that's funny. I've seen one relationship like that. Manifestors are such funny people. Those two fought like cats and dogs because manifestors get angry when they are thwarted. So they often carry a load of anger from their childhoods when their parents were trying to prevent them from being as independent as they naturally are. And because there's only 8% of people who are manifestors, they tend to end up with other people. And if you are a generator with a manifestor, most likely you will be trying to make that manifestor behave, and they will not, because they cannot. Manifestors are outlaws. They are pure yang. They are very independent. They do their own thing. They like to start things. And they are quite exposed in having to take the initiative. And usually they have been punished since they were children for just doing their own thing. So what they have to do in relationships is inform the other person of what they're going to do. They often have a sort of vision quest that they have to do in their life at some point, like traveling around the world on a motorbike or sailing around the world or something like that, some adventurous vision quest type thing. And if they would just rush off and do that without telling their wife and children, everybody will get completely freaked out. And that's what they would like to do. They want to just take off and not tell anybody. But if they inform, then people will not get quite as mad at them. So if you have any in your life, don't ask them questions. They don't like that. But you can inform them of what you're going to do. And you can then also hint to them. If, for example, the orange juice is gone and you want them to buy some on the way home from work, don't say, could you please buy some orange juice on the way home from work? They won't like that at all. You just say, the orange juice is gone. And then maybe they'll buy some and maybe they won't. And that's as much as you can do. Okay. Back to who these people are and how you know how to live as yourself. If you are a generator, you are not here to initiate. That sacral motor is a yin thing. It's not a yang thing. It's not to push with. It's here to respond with. It's like the skin of a drum. It needs somebody to play that drum, or it needs at least another drum being played in the same room. It needs something to respond to. And the waiting is not suppressing energy. The waiting is alive, like you're waiting for a lover. Very excited what life is going to bring along. As I see it, there are two religions in this world. There's what I call the American Nike Just Do It religion. And then there is the Eastern view. The American Nike Just Do It religion says, dream up what you want and make it happen. And if it doesn't work, you haven't tried hard enough. Just push, 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 push until it works. And if it still doesn't work, we'll try harder. I also call it the Donald Trump religion. And you've all tried that. That's what we're all taught to be. and you've seen what happens. You meet walls, you meet resistance, weird things occur. There's another way of looking at life, that we are all in this enormous soup together, each weird one of us. We're all here in this soup. And there's every kind of thing here. There's seahorses, and there's every leaf on every tree, and there's every insect, and there's every star, and there's every hair on Subuti's head, and there's every tooth in our mouth, and all the gravel on the road. Everything is here. We cannot control all of that. The very idea is ridiculous. All we can do is be in this ocean, in this soup, as ourselves. And when something comes along, and things are always coming along, all the time, just when you think, oh, nothing's happening, you open your computer and, oh shit. Or you walk outside the door and the sun's shining and your body goes, that is a response. Generators, manifesting generators, that sacral motor is here to respond to life. It does it just like that, where the sun was shining and the body goes, ah. And when you were a little child, that's how it worked. Your body was constantly responding very innocently to everything. But as you got older and you went to school, you were taught to think. Your body would say something and your mind would go, no, 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 you shouldn't, or you should. The shoulds are the enemy for all of us. The shoulds are the enemy. The shoulds happen above the neck. Whatever happens above the neck is not an authority for anybody, because it's not in touch with you. It's containing the collective stuff, the unconscious that whirls around the earth and the jet stream downloading everywhere, the advertisements, the editorials, the opinions, all the pressures from all of history. It's all there in the collective. And it fights with itself because it all is contradictory. It's got everything in it. So the mind is always dualistic. Oh, I should do this. No, 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 you should do that. But if I do this, this might happen. Oh, but I should do that. You know that one. Back and forth, back and forth. We want to get away from that. It drives you insane. And in my work with people with human design, this is the thing I come back to again and again. When people start to look inwards at what their body is doing, because almost everybody in the world, their inner authority is in their body. There's only very few people who have no inner authority. That's the reflectors and the mental projectors have no inner authority. Very, very few people. Mental projectors are one type of projector, very rare. Everybody else and everybody that's here today has inner authority, and it's in your body. And for each of you, it might be in a different place. It might be your gut. It might be something else we call splenic authority. It might be in your heart chakra, but we will come to that. So, first of all, you're waiting for life to present something. It might come on the internet. It might come when you walk outside. It might come through bumping into a friend. It might come through you're about to cross the street and a truck comes hurtling along. Something to respond to. And you will have your own style of how to respond that is truthful for your real nature. The difficulty is that you have been brainwashed never to pay attention to it. And if you begin now to start paying attention to it, as soon as you register a true thing in your body, your mind is going to start arguing about it. Always. The mind will go, oh, no, 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 you can't do that. It will upset somebody. Every time. But if you go with the should, that's when you get in trouble. That's when you end up having an accident. That's when you end up entering into a relationship you never really wanted and getting stuck there. Having a child you never wanted. Being in a job you don't like. Doing errands for people all day when you really wanted to go paint a picture. All that stuff. And it's dangerous to make a decision from your head because the mind being unreal, it never dies. And a decision you make from your head can have lasting effects all of your life. I can tell you from my own experience, and not good effects. Okay, how do you know what's true for you? I'm going to go through for each one of you what your inner authority is. And this is something to practice, and I'm going to give you some homework for practicing it, because it's the most important thing in human design, and it's the most important thing you'll ever hear about in your whole life, actually, because it takes you from the world and all of its distractions and brings you back home in the simplest way. And just because it's simple, it doesn't mean it's easy. Your mind is going to argue about it. For generators, you are responding to things all day long, but to get the clearest response to a direction, you need a clear question that has a yes or a no answer possible. Something like, do you have energy to have a coffee with me tomorrow morning at 10? That's a clear question with a yes or no answer possible. The generator can then look inside her body, close her eyes, and look in. What is her tummy doing? Does it close? Does it open? Does she feel, yeah? Or, ah? Does she feel like, or, ah? That's called the gut. And we all hear about go with your gut, follow your gut. Coming back to the gut for the generators. Okay, we're going to go through now each one of you. Arena, your inner authority is your sacral motor. So this is just what I've described. Something comes to you, you've waited something to respond to, and you listen. Do you get uh-huh or uh-uh? And for you, it might also be a sense of a thrill or a contraction in your body, like this feels really good, this feels healthy, or this feels icky. Something like that. So this type of inner authority is the easiest, simplest that there is. They say generators have the easiest path to enlightenment because all you have to do is sense what your gut is telling you. Now, for everybody, when something comes towards you, particularly if a person is standing near you, it's a good idea to get away from the person for a few minutes because they're pressuring you with their energy, even if they don't know it. And if you just get away from them a little bit, it's a little easier for the things to fall into place inside you. Okay, Linda, your inner authority is kind of double. First, just like I said, you feel that gut level, but that's not the end of it. That's just a kind of preliminary where it's like, ugh, or uh-huh, uh-uh. Then the best thing you can say to the person is, I don't know. Because you have what's called emotional authority, which needs to take time to decide anything. And time means as long as it takes. It might be 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades. It doesn't matter. You get to have that time. You are at the center of time. Time is your province, and it's a timeless time. And you're not supposed to decide on the excited up or the pessimistic down, because either one of those, the other side will come and bite you in the ass. Oh my God, you missed. You should have said yes. Or what are you getting yourself into? You said yes, and oh no. So you wait until you wake up one morning and there's just a kind of calm, and you kind of know, and it's not 100%. It will never be 100%. It will be more like, okay, 80%. It's good enough. Taking time. Anka. Sacral authority. Or listening to your tummy. Just putting aside your mind, going down into your tummy and noticing or Anna is not here. Anna has a very interesting, special, very rare thing in her design. So it's interesting she's not here because it might fit in with that. Okay, Yasemin, you also, sacral authority, or coming from your gut. And it will take practice to come back to that, like a child. You know, if the mother says to the child, are you thirsty? The child goes, or doesn't go up in its head and go, oh, I wonder if the water was in a plastic bottle and it was sitting in a windowsill and the sun came in and the dioxins got released in the plastic. And if I drink it now, I might get sick when I'm 53. It doesn't do all that. It's just like, or And Yasemin, also you will feel a sense of if this is yummy or not, like, yes, or not. Cassandra, emotional authority. So first feeling in your gut and then saying, I don't know, and taking time. And your power is people have to wait for you. And that's totally fine. Don't feel guilty about it. It should be like that. When you finally have your decision ready, it will have an integrity, a roundness, a maturity to it when you've taken all that time. Umi. Also, sacral authority. Or coming from your gut, never from your head, with also the sense of, it's yummy or it's not yummy. If it's not yummy, you don't want to do it. Nuri. As a manifesting generator, you also have the sacral response. So it's or but you also will feel in your body like, oh, or so the whole body lunges forward. This was the hell yes I was telling you about the other day. Hell yes. Or, oh. Tonya. Tonya, you are a projector. So you are a very unusual and special kind of projector where your inner authority is in your heart. And it's kind of also where your sense of self is. This one's very delicate. And you will know if something's good for you because you will feel happy in your heart about it. And if you don't feel happy in your heart about it, it's not good for you. That's it. It's so simple. And you might also be able to know because you open your mouth and you just say, no. Or maybe your mouth opens and you hear yourself saying, yes. But with that no or that yes, your heart will be there. So your chest opening or closing and a happiness or not. And Subhuti, you also are a projector. And your inner authority is splenic. So this is the one where what you're really after is this healthy for me or not? And your body knows it because your body is having what we call the reptile brain, the ancient most survival mechanism that knows if danger is there or not. It knows if there's danger because it knows it long before the idea reaches the mind. It's like if you are walking through a jungle and a snake came out, your body would jump out of the way of the snake and it would get away with before you even noticed the snake was there with your eyes. So if you trust that intuitive body knowing, then that's what keeps you safe. And this is felt, Subhuti, like it's very quiet. I have the same kind of, I also have splenic authority. It's a little bit different than yours, but fundamentally the mechanism is the same. It's very easy to override it. It's very easy to ignore it and to stomp on it with your mind, say, oh, no, let's just push and do this. Because it might feel just like a little dark shadow passing over you, or a little feeling of dread, or something lifting up, something opening, or only halfway opening. And you have to notice all of that. I've been trying now since I had my first reading in 97 to notice mine. And my God, it's so challenging because it will go, and somebody's standing there that wants me to do something, and I'm being overwhelmed by them because they're a manifesting generator. And my mind will say, oh, it's just simpler to do what they want and then, get out of their clutches and come back. But if I do that, I end up twisting my ankle or grabbing hold of a thorn bush in the dark. It happened one time until I was all bloody with thorns, stuff like this. So that splenic authority is to keep you safe in a very physical health way by knowing what's not good for you and what is. Okay, so those are your inner authorities, each one of you. And for the generators, before next week, I would like you to practice. And here is how you can do it. Could you, generators, connect with one other generator in this class and have a little practice where one of you is lying down very relaxed and the other one is asking questions that have a yes or a no answer that are not loaded, not important questions, just silly things like, do you like celery? Do you want to go to the Antarctic? Is it snowing there? Are you warm enough? Are you hungry? Simple, boring questions, just anything, nothing very important. And for about 10 minutes. And the person who's lying down, it's not important. There's no answer that's right. What this is for is simply to practice tuning into your belly. Just that, only that, to see if you can, to see if it's easy, to see if it's hard. And then you switch over and it's the other person's turn to just ask simple questions. And after the 10 minutes that each of you has, then take another 10 minutes just to share with each other how that was for you, whether it was hard, whether it was difficult, what happened. Typically, what happens is people say, I couldn't tell if I was in my head or not. If you notice this, that you can't tell if you're in your head, love yourself for it, because this is a big notice. This is awareness. Human design is an awareness tool. There's no right answer. We're just practicing awareness. You're just being aware. You're aware, okay, I don't even know what I feel in my belly because my mind is so loud. And then you keep trying, you keep practicing. And don't worry how long it takes to feel the tune in and something happens in actually your body. But that's what we're waiting for, is something that actually happens in your body. something closes or opens or uh-huh or uh-uh. Okay, you think that you can manage that? To connect with another generator and do that? Okay. Now I was thinking that just to make that all even easier, if everybody before next week could do Kundalini meditation, which is Osho Kundalini meditation. You can download it from somewhere. Mohini probably has it, or I'm not quite sure how easy it is to get it. I think it's probably very easy on Spotify. The reason I'm asking you to do it is because it takes you totally out of your mind. It's 15 minutes of shaking. You're standing up and shaking with the music. 15 minutes dancing, just free form. Feels very good. Everybody loves this meditation. 15 minutes sitting with a straight spine and just observing energy. And 15 minutes lying down, just going, "Wah." And if you do that before generator practice, you will be so relaxed that it might be easier to just feel in your tummy and the head won't be quite so active. So I would like if you could do that. I don't know how easy or difficult it is to arrange it, but I hope that it's possible. And that would be your homework. The projectors, you don't have that homework. Instead, you can just start noticing what your inner authority is doing in this week. Tonya, your heart, and Subhuti, your kind of gut level responding to whether something is good for you or not, whether you like it or not, and not getting in your head. Okay. My God, this was a lot that I tried to get in this time. Does anybody have questions now? Yes.
I thank you. I would like to reflect something back about the generator and what I've learned about myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one
Yes.
is directly in relationship to what you just suggested, to do the Kundalini meditation. I find what works best for me is not to respond from a place of stillness. Movement really helps me, like at least very subtle movement in the body. It helps me to really come out from the mind and into my into a state beyond the mind, let's say. So maybe it helps also somebody else to know this.
Yeah, though there are people, this can be definitely happening. There are people like that. I'm just looking at your design. Oh, you've got power channel. Okay. Very, very intense. So let's leave it like this. I'd like you to practice with this. If you can do Kundalini first, fine, but I'm not going to say you have to. It would be nice if everybody has that meditation, because I'd actually like everyone to do it once during the week for the whole course, because it gets you out of your head and it relaxes you. Human design is not about being in your head, and yet we go into the intellect to study it. It's a map for your energy, and it's really about life energy, but we go in our head to study it. So it's very helpful to do a meditation at some point where you come into your body. And Arena, if that helps you to be in movement, totally fine. I have no argument with that at all. Everybody's different.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Could I also ask a question real quick?
Yes.
So I've noticed about myself that because I'm a fiery sign also, what happens sometimes is that there is this yes that comes in the moment because of the excitement or something, but it also passes very fast. And sometimes I feel like, oh, well, that was an impulse, but it was not like in the long term necessarily like a serving me, let's say, but it was an experience. So it's not sustained. And this is one aspect. And another aspect is that what I feel sometimes about this feeling in the body, it's incredibly subtle. It's so subtle. It's not always really easy to understand. And it's sometimes it can be very obvious, but sometimes it's like, and then I feel like, well, maybe I just wait. And I wait for another invitation or something like this. Does it make sense?
So this is a really good point. I'm glad you brought it up because I actually wanted to say this and I was starting to feel rushed myself. You know, pretty much all of us, we benefit by waiting before we decide anything because the conditioning is everywhere and the people are pressuring us and stuff comes up and take note of what happens and then give yourself more time. It's always good to sleep on things. And the subtlety, meditation gives us back our subtlety. That's what it does. By making you sit still long enough, you know, once you start a meditation, you have to stay till the end. If you go out in the middle, it's very disturbing for your whole energy. You can really mess yourself up that way. So you're in a frame when you're in the meditation. Because of that, you start to notice things you wouldn't notice otherwise. And you can notice more and more subtle things. And like the poet said, in subtlety is delight. Subtlety is delightful. It's exciting. It's thrilling. It takes intelligence to notice subtlety. It takes alertness, presence. Meditation gives us this. So human design and meditation go much better together than human design all by itself. Because you are absolutely right, Arena. Energies can be very subtle. Anybody else?
Tonya asks in the chat box if the projectors have to do the Kundalini meditation.
I would like the projectors also to do Kundalini meditation. Yes, it's a really pleasurable meditation. Everybody loves it, so I think you will enjoy it. It's basically you're just shaking off everything. You're shaking out the day, and then you're just cruising and dance, and then you're just sitting and lying down, and it's really delightful.
I was just wondering, like, if Anna is maybe watching the replay, if you just want to say something as well for the recording about her, so that she also has this piece about herself.
Oh yeah. What a good
I would imagine
idea.
she'll watch the replay if this is
Okay.
her. She's on the course.
Okay, so Anna has emotional authority. She's a generator with emotional authority. So Anna, you need to take time. First, feel what's happening in your gut, and then say, I don't know. Ask me again later. Anybody with emotional authority should get asked things twice. So all their friends should know not to pressure them, to ask them things twice, and to give them a lot of space. And then when they have finally a decision, it's very mature and comes from their depth. Okay, Nuri, you had a question?
Mine
I
was,
saw something.
I put in the chat box, can we get the list of the projectors and how can we connect with them?
I can't hear.
I just put it in the chat. It's about getting the list of the projectors and how can we connect. Yeah.
So no, Nuri, you need to be with other generators. The projectors aren't doing that meditation. It's only the generators and the manifesting generator, which is you.
Yes. Okay.
So maybe Anka, can you help with that they can find each other and connect?
Yes, I have just shared the private Facebook group. Please join, and over there it will be easier to connect with each other.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Okay, so that's all for this week. And next week we go into another whole depth. Oh, I'm going to also send to you tomorrow quite a lot of information about how generators and projectors connect with each other and a few other things. So I will send it to Anka, who will send it to all of you. And sometime during the week, if you could simply read it as well. And then you could just have it in a file so that if you ever need it, you can have it. And next week, we go to something very exciting. profile and your specific intimacy style. Your intimacy style is shown in many places in different ways, which we are covering in this time, but there is something specifically called your intimacy style that we will go to also next week. Okay, everybody okay? Or anybody have any last thing they want to ask or say? Antonia, good. Antonia says thank you, and she's already learned a lot. Very good. So did anybody feel it was all too rushed or anything? I'm a bit worried about that because this is the first class, and I just don't want people to feel rushed. Okay. And you'll have always chances to ask questions. All right, so see you next week.